I'd like to show you a beautiful checkmating idea. For in this position, it's mate in 8, black to play and mate in 8 moves. Perhaps you'd like to have a go at working it out. This was played in the German Oberliga Nord, that's one of the lower leagues in Germany. Player of the white pieces, Denny Ackermann, I'm afraid I don't know him, and his opponent with the black pieces, Milos Perunovic, who's strong grandmaster from Serbia. I actually set this at the end of my hangout the other evening, but I'm afraid my viewers were beaten by the clock. They didn't manage to solve it in time. So here's the solution for you. But I think these kind of puzzles are really beneficial. This tests your calculating skills, but also, you know, whether you can visualize checkmating patterns as well. Absolutely essential skills when we play a game of chess. Okay, without further ado, here's the solution. Well, you always have to look at forcing moves when you're calculating. So Queen F2 check. Now, if the king steps back to H1, then Queen F1 check and mate next move. So it's quite clear that after Queen F2, the king has to step forward. King H3. Now, black can drive the king forward again. Queen F1 check. And now it's best to take the knight, otherwise King H4, Bishop F6 check. So king takes G4. And this is a really interesting moment in the game. The obvious move here is to keep checking the king with H5. But watch what happens. Incredibly, white's king can actually survive in this position. If Queen F6, it keeps going. And there is actually no way to checkmate the king. It's quite extraordinary. You can try G5 check, but you take here. And the best that black has is to play Queen G7 check and then a draw by perpetual. If we go back to this position, it would seem as though King G7, whoops, excuse me, not this move, King G7 is, well, looks crushing at first glance, threatening either Queen F6 or Bishop F6 checkmate. But white has a really powerful response, and that's to play E5. And this completely turns the tables. After this move, white is winning. First, it blocks out the bishop, so no Bishop F6 check. It prevents Queen F6, but also opens up this diagonal, and actually white's counterattack is winning here. It's quite extraordinary. So H5, very tempting, but actually only good enough to draw. But here is where black should play Bishop F6, or black did play Bishop F6 in the game. Very often you have a dilemma when you're hunting the enemy king, when you've got it out in the open. Do you keep chasing it? Do you keep pushing it with checks? Or do you try and restrict its movements? In this case, restricting is best. Threatening H5 mate, because these squares are now covered. There's only one defense, Knight F4. Well, it's not really defense, it just prolongs the finish. H5 check. This has to be taken. King takes. Now, Queen H3 check. You might want to stop the video at this point and have a think about how you're going to finish. Bishop E7 is a really subtle winning move. Threatening Queen H7 mate, and there's no defense. I really love this checkmate. It's a very familiar checkmating pattern where the king is kind of caught in the crossfire of queen and bishop. It helps to know these mating patterns, it really does. So there we go. That was mate in 8 from this position. As I said, this was from a hangout and that took place the other day. And if you want to see the whole of that, it's about an hour long, then do click on the link. And I show a classic game from Smyslov, and there are more puzzles for you to solve. And you can follow the chat that took place on that evening as well. I want to thank all my patrons who support this channel. We're really grateful, and if any of you out there would like to support the PowerPlayChess channel, then please go to patreon.com/PowerPlayChess, and if you can contribute something monthly, that really helps us. And according to how much you contribute, there are rewards like extra videos in advance, and so on. Or if you just want to make a one-off donation via PayPal, you can do that as well. Just click on the buttons, you'll find them around. Excellent. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye now.